about this current awakening and ascension path. It's fascinating to me that the words do mean different things to everyone. And so I gave that little reference point of what I'm talking about. When I talk about ascension and awakening, I'm talking about ensoulment. I'm talking about embodiment of being. And that is a process, a very real process for our minds, our emotions, and our physicality, and our energy field. And what's happening right now, and it's been happening for a while, and I've been talking about it for a while, and I remember saying many times over these months, I don't really see this slowing anytime soon. I don't see things just settling down and becoming kind of paradisical in the world just yet. That's not bad news because we're actually here for this part. We're here, you're in these bodies right now because what you bring to the table is needed for your soul and for the planet. It's needed, it's important, it's aligned, it's pono, as we say in Hawaiian. It's aligned that you're here, having the experience that you're having. How do we know what's happening is the perfect thing? Because it's happening. So I was down in a sacred valley and I'd gone down with a new Hawaiian friend, and she is connected with a family that are gatekeepers of this sacred valley. And she said, I don't know why me. I don't know why me and my family. And I said, well, because you're needed and because this valley loves you and because it's important that your feet walk here. And she looked at me and said, gosh, wow, I usually think of that the other way, how much I'm receiving from this place. And we dropped into a conversation about how reciprocal everything is. So you, right now, right where you are on this planet, is so reciprocal with the heavenly realms, with the celestial beings, with your own eternal, infinite being, and your body right here. It's a reciprocity of allowing and receiving and sharing and gifting. And take a moment and breathe that the place where you are needs you, is grateful for you, is more of what it wishes to be because you are here. And sometimes being here doesn't really feel like, oh, the whole world thinks I'm a gift, or oh, I can just tell the planet loves me, or oh, my life is reflecting back to me the perfection of every moment. Sometimes it feels like that. Don't we all love it when it feels like that? We're like, I just feel this perfection. I do. I love it when it's like that. So what I'd like to speak into today then are two things about what's going on the planet vibrationally and with us individually. And I've sort of referenced this already. Unwavering awakening. This is the phrase that showed itself to me today as I prepared to gather with you. Unwavering awakening. Now, for some people, they're like, I'm already awake, got that part done. For me, the awakening is truly the end of the experience of separation. It is when heart, mind, soul, being, everything is one and we're flowing in that harmony. There's not a dissonance anymore. And yes, we open our eyes to many things and our perceptive capacities increase and our interdimensional gifts come more online and we know what we are and all of those things. And it's about the actualization of that through the body. And what I find is that the body, the cells, it's the last piece to come along. So myself as an example, and the various soul contracts, challenges, traumas, those things that I said, hey, let's step in big and have this. And we all have them, yes? If you just talk to a person long enough, you're like, wow, that's intense. Someplace, right, in their life, or now, or we all have it. We're not special in this way. What we're special at is so transforming the relationship with those things that not only are they just so, without charge, They're no longer writing our current experience. They're not the author of our life now. So what I find is that for me, and most of, maybe all, yeah, probably, my major traumas, I don't have any more triggers emotionally. I don't feel like I'm mentally and emotionally or spiritually in any suffering about it. And then I notice I still have that cellular memory in my body that allows it to respond a certain way. And that becomes a beautiful focus of our unwavering awakening down to every cell. It's not just concepts, it's not just the things we know, it's what we're living in ourselves. And so I've been really looking at that a lot. And we're going to share something that'll help with that today. And then the other word I have for this that I mentioned before is ensoulment. And when we're in the process of ensoulment on today's current timeline, planet, this particular, whatever you want to call it, illusion, hologram, experience, reality. Okay, so there's two things that are happening simultaneously. This is not news to you. However, looking at it this way may be helpful or new or different. Yes, increasingly high vibrations. Yes. Schumann resonance going up, up, up. Influx of plasma blasts and solar storms and flares. Weakening of the Earth's magnetic shield, which allows that energy that I just mentioned from the sun to impact us even more deeply. Lots of support from the galactic realms, the planet itself ascending, changing its vibration. This is the ascension path of the vibrational spectrum and what's happening there. And then there's this increase in volume on the shadow aspects, the densities. I would suggest that that's happening around us, yes, but it's happening in our bodies. What is in us that is now increasingly dissonant with those higher vibrations, that's doesn't line up there, is getting louder or popping up. It's almost like you may be feeling reversion, or in music, a retrograde. That's where it goes backward instead of forward. And you're like, how did I end up in this experience that feels like something that is like a wave of what it felt like when I was at that point in my life. And we've talked about this a lot before too, that everything must vibrate up and out and through. So there's these increasing high vibrations that are just going to keep going. It's actually the way we're going. It's what is happening. And then that brilliant bright light reveals and activates everything that is in a disparity with it in the world and in ourselves. And basically our bodies get stuck in the middle of, not stuck, but kind of caught through these very powerful energetic opposites. As a friend of mine called it, she calls it frazzle dazzle. I was like, oh God, that's what it feels like in the body. It's like frazzle dazzle. It feels like the nervous system gets fried. It gets kind of amped and it gets tight, and there can be agitation, and there can be a sense of unrest and unease. And that's what I'm really seeing happening more in our cells, in the body, as we go through this time of great expansion and increase of high vibration. And our bodies, so now, yes, there's a clearing factor, but it's more like, I have got to get myself ready to carry all of this voltage. And again, I've spoken about this some before, but I'm finding that this kind of squeeze on the physicality, the mind, the emotions, with the we're going high, 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 and here comes the really loud, dense stuff. It's requiring unwavering awakening, that continuous, incessant, beautifully sustained physical process of making ourselves constantly readily available to carry more light and to lovingly receive what's within us.